Hello, Naramek. It's Dr. Metzger. Today we're going to read Carnival of the Animals by Xylophone. Saint-Saëns Carnival. Camille Saint-Saëns is a famous French composer who was born about 150 years ago. Although Saint-Saëns was a very serious composer, he also liked a good joke. That's why when his pupils at a music school asked him to write a musical joke for them, he wrote The Carnival of the Animals. People enjoyed his joke so much that it has now become one of the most famous pieces. Here are the animals you will meet in the music. Can you see any unusual ones? Orchestra for the Carnival. Saint-Saëns very carefully selected the instruments to play his musical carnival. He wanted each of the animals to have its own special music. Here is the orchestra he chose, playing the Carnival of Animals. The musicians are dressed up for the concert. The piccolo, the flute, the clarinet, the piano. There's two pianos. The xylophone, the glockenspiel, the double bass, the cello, the viola, a baton because he's the conductor, and the violins. The players sit in a half circle so they can all see the conductor. The conductor is in charge of the orchestra. He waves his baton to make sure that everyone plays in time. He tells the musicians when it's their turn to play for one of the animals and how loudly or softly they should play. String instruments. The violin, viola, cello, and double bass are all members of the string family of instruments. The string family is the most important group of instruments in the Carnival Orchestra. Each member of the strings family is made of wood and has 4 strings. String instruments are played with a bow. The sounds are made when the bow is pulled across the strings or when the players pluck the strings with their fingers. The violin is the smallest string instrument and it makes the highest sound. Listen for the violins playing the clucking hens and the braying donkeys. The cello is much bigger than the violin and the viola and makes an even deeper sound. Listen to the beautiful tune it plays for the Swan. The viola looks like a big violin and has a deeper sound. It plays the tune of the fish in the aquarium. And the double bass is the biggest string instrument of all. It makes the deepest sound of all the strings. It plays a funny dance for the elephant. Woodwind instruments. Saint-Saëns chose 3 members of the woodwind family of instruments to play in his carnival. The instruments in this family are played by blowing into them, and they all have a row of holes on the top. The players make different notes by covering the holes with their fingers. Woodwind instruments are not always made of wood. Some instruments, like the piccolo and flute, are usually made of metal, sometimes even silver or gold. Others, like the clarinet, are made of both wood and metal. The clarinet can play loud and noisy music as well as quiet, gentle music. Listen for it playing the noisy call of the rooster as well as the gentle song of the cuckoo in the woods. The flute is one of the highest woodwind instruments. It plays the fast fluttering tune of the birds. The piccolo is the smallest woodwind instrument. It plays even higher than the flute. The piccolo plays at the end of the music when all the animals gather together for the big carnival parade. The xylophone, glockenspiel, and piano. Saint-Saëns was a pianist, and it's not surprising that he gave the pianos a very busy part at the carnival. The piano, glockenspiel, and xylophone are all members of the important percussion family. Instruments in this family are tapped or struck to make their sound. Inside the piano, tiny wooden hammers strike the strings when the key is pressed. The wooden notes of the xylophone and metal notes of the smaller glockenspiel are played with long beaters or mallets. The xylophone makes a very rattly sound. It plays the part of the fossils. The glockenspiel is like a small xylophone, but it is made of metal. Its tinkly sound is the sunlight on the water in the aquarium. The piano can play the highest and lowest notes of all the instruments in the Carnival Orchestra. Listen as the piano plays the mad rushing music of the mule race, the bouncy kangaroo music, and the music for the noisiest animal of all, beginner pianists. Listen, the orchestra is calling our attention. The music begins and it gets louder and louder. Who is arriving? It's the lion. The strings are playing the lion's march tune as he walks proudly around his kingdom. Sometimes he roars loudly. Can you hear the pianos playing the lion's roar? Do you think the other animals are frightened of him? Now the music grows quiet as the lion pauses for a moment to watch over his kingdom. Then he roars again one final time before he strides off. The Hens and Roosters. The hens' music is played by the violin and viola. They play a spiky, jumpy tune, which sounds just like hens scratching around, clucking and squawking to each other. Can you hear the high trills on the piano? That's the rooster. Look at me, he seems to cry. The rooster wants the hens to stop their clucking and admire him, but the hens take no notice. Now the clarinet plays the part of the rooster, but you can hardly hear him above the noise as the hens carry on scratching and clucking. Do you think the poor rooster will ever make himself heard? The mules. Mules are slow, stubborn creatures, but these are very unusual mules. Can you hear how the music rushes up and down the piano keyboard? The mules are chasing each other. The other animals watch astonished as they run by. Higher and higher the music climbs, up and up and up, and then it rushes down again on the notes almost tumbling over one another, just like the mules. Do you think it's a race? Who will finish first? At the end of the piece, we hear two loud crashes on the piano. The mules flop down exhausted, but they've had a great time. Tortoises. How slowly the tortoises move. Step, step, step. Their tune is played by the strings instruments. It's a dance tune, but it's very slow and plodding. Could you dance as slowly as this? It's as if the tortoises aren't sure which scaly foot to put next. They drag themselves along, but they don't seem to be getting anywhere. Do you think they like dancing? The tortoise's tune gets slower and slower until it stops altogether, and all you can hear is the piano. The tortoises are tired out. The piano starts this piece with a waltz tune. A waltz is a gentle and graceful dance. People in Césace's day danced the waltz at parties. Then the double bass starts playing, all deep and gruff, plodding along next to the piano. That's the sound of the elephant trying to dance. It doesn't matter how high and fast the piano plays, the double bass just keeps on stomping steadily along. Do you think the elephant enjoys dancing? Do you think he knows that he can't dance very well? Kangaroos. Listen to the bouncy music. Here come the kangaroos. The pianos play their hopping and jumping music. It sounds as if the kangaroos themselves are leaping along the keys of a giant piano. Sometimes the music goes very quiet as the kangaroos stand still, deciding which way to jump next. Now they're off again, jumping up the piano. Can you hear the music getting higher and higher? And then they jump all the way down again. Very soon the kangaroos have to rest, so they stop for a long kangaroo snooze. Aquarium. In the aquarium, the rainbow colors of the fish sparkle in the sun. There are tiny fish with shiny scales and a giant fish with funny faces. The flute and all the string instruments play a high, soft tune for the fish as they glide through the water. The pianos are the gentle waves rippling across the water. At times, the fish stay so still that all you can hear are the waves tripping over each other. Listen carefully toward the end of the music. Can you hear the tinkling sound of the glockenspiel? It is the sunlight glittering on the waves high above the fish. Animals with long ears. Hee-haw, hee-haw. Many animals have long ears, but only one creature makes his strange sound. Do you know which animal it is? It's the donkey. The violins play the hee-haw. First they play a loud squeaky high note, then they play two long low notes. Hee-haw, hee-haw, hee-haw. What a noise, what a noise, what a noise! It gets faster and faster, louder and louder. It's not surprising the other animals run away and cover their ears. Cuckoo in the woods. It's springtime. Deep in the woods, the air is still and warm. The cuckoo is calling. The cuckoo's gentle call is played by the soft, sweet sound of the clarinet. The cuckoo sings only two notes, one high, one low. Can you hear which one is first? The pianos are the noises in the woods. They play beautiful, quiet music, which sounds like slow footsteps. If you follow the footsteps deeper and deeper in the woods, you may actually see the cuckoo, but remember to stay very quiet and very still. The birds. The flute plays a high, fast melody as the birds flutter their wings and fly up and down, backward and forward. The music is light and bouncy. The violins hover around one note in the background, like the birds hovering in the air. Can you hear the chirps and trills played by the pianos? They are the sounds of the bird callings to each other across the treetops. The music grows higher and higher at the end of the piece. What do you think is happening? Ooh, I like that picture. Pianists. Pianists, of course, aren't really animals, but these pianists want to join the carnival. They are just beginners, so they don't play very well. Listen to them practicing their exercises. They have to play the same music over and over again. The rest of the carnival animals are tired of listening to the pianists. The string instruments play a little tune of their own, getting faster and faster. Hurry up and finish, they say to the pianists. It's our turn to play now. Then, at last, the pianists stop. Hooray! All the animals are very pleased. Fossils. It's nighttime, the stars are out, and the fossils are dancing in the moonlight. The bony skeletons of the dinosaurs have come alive, and the xylophone is playing their fast, rattly tune. Listen for the piano in the middle of the piece. Can you hear a well-known tune? Twinkle, twinkle, little star? At the end of the music, the rest of the orchestra joins the xylophones to play the fossils dance again. It's such a good tune, they all want to play. The music for this piece is very slow and gentle. It sounds as if the swan is gliding gracefully along a quiet river. Can you hear the pianos in the background? They are the ripples in the water. The main tune is played by the cello. Listen to it growing louder and then softer. The swan is coming nearer and fluttering its wings. Then at the end of the piece, the swan disappears into the distance and you can only hear the sound of the water. The finale. Now the orchestra calls all the animals to the start of the grand carnival parade. The pianists play great swishing sounds and then the orchestra plays a special parade tune. Suddenly, with a great clatter of hooves, the mules rush by. Can you hear their music? Then we hear the spiky music of the hens and the roosters. Now the kangaroos pass by, jumping and hopping to their tune. Last of all, we hear the loud hee-haws of the donkeys. The animals don't cover their ears anymore. They are too happy and excited. Well, it's not every day there's a carnival of the animals. Hope you enjoyed that book too. There's also music that goes along with it that you can look up online, and you can hear how each one sounds. I hope you enjoyed that book. Have a great day.